Well, I think first of all, I very much appreciate strong, direct leadership and action that is deemed necessary. And certainly if you go by the rise in corona cases in the UK, like in many other countries, very strong action is needed. My caveat on this, though, however, is I don't think we understand enough, anywhere near enough about the virus at the moment, because the deaths and the serious illnesses are still very, very low. So, yes, the cases are rising, but the deaths are not rising. And there is a potentially very simple explanation for that, which is that the virus could be losing its potency. But equally, there's other reasons that could be potentially, such as young people being tested who are asymptomatic, and it's swelling the numbers without swelling the deaths. So I think there's a huge amount at the moment that we don't really understand, and therefore this action may be, just maybe, too severe. That is for the scientists to try and judge, and I guess from the fact that they've made this action, they do judge that the virus is still extremely potent and will start to damage the aged and the vulnerable if it gets out of hand. As far as the damage to the economy, well, there's been so much done already. We are in desperate trouble already, and of course this will just cause further damage. But, whatever that damage ends up being, the solution is still exactly the same. We need massive investment in the economy, and I'm estimating between an extra 500 billion and £1 trillion invested, but invested very, very wisely in job creation schemes, through apprenticeship schemes, through regeneration of all our services such as rail, road, fibre optic, hospitals, schools, etc. Big inward investment incentives to try and get foreign businesses to centre themselves on UK shores, and a big renewable energy scheme that would create spend world excellence within renewable energy space.
So you want the spending ought to continue, John, in your view, to carry on trying to build up the economy to deal with the effects of this thing?
Absolutely. I mean, the spending to date is like the sticking plaster to stop the wound. What I'm advocating here is what I call CPR, which is Caudwell Pandemic Recovery. And it's all about investing in the future of the UK. And we still need to do some patching up, of course, because there's a lot of businesses out there that are suffering. They do need help. They need continual help. There's employees that are losing their jobs and will be, I estimate, around about 4 million unemployed. So there's a huge challenge for the UK government to get through this in a way that the UK can prosper again over the next few years.
Let me ask then about who pays for the Caudwell CPR. The report that I've seen suggests, John, and tell me if I'm wrong by whatever factor, but that you've paid somewhere close to £330 million in tax as a result of your business success. Would you be up for paying more?
Yeah, but I would, but that doesn't really scratch the surface of it, because you cannot get out of this mess that we're in by taxing people. Whether it's the rich, the poor, or you just cannot tax the people. There's not enough tax dollars to pay for the scheme that needs putting in. And the reason that we can afford to do this by borrowing the money and printing the money is because we have an absolutely unique set of financial circumstances where interest rates are incredibly low, even negative in some countries, and will remain incredibly low for many years to come. Inflation is in the same situation, very, very low, even tending towards deflation possibly over the next couple of years. So inflation is not going to get out of control. And because all countries are in the same boat, I don't believe there'll be any huge currency swings as a consequence. So we do have this unique set of circumstances that mean probably for the first time in my lifetime, I would advocate borrowing to invest in the economy rather than austerity means.
And just very finally, John, we mentioned the news around Brexit that is breaking tonight, and it seems that the mood music is that no deal is on the horizon. Briefly, if you would, your view of a no trade deal Brexit.
Well, of course, we all want a trade deal, but we should never lose sight of the fact that the Brussels bully boys have beaten us up for 4 years now because of our weakness. And we need a very, very strong stance. And what we should all remember is that Europe have got an 80 billion trade surplus with Britain. It's absolutely in their interests to do a commercial deal with us on free trade. And if they don't do a free trade deal with us, it's purely and simply because they're playing politics rather than commerciality, and their countries will suffer as well as Britain.